Angry guy here, and women are old, alone, and furious at feminists. Women are old, alone, and furious at feminists. Let's just go ahead and jump right into the article. So, Gen Z and millennial women are waking up to the lies feminists fed them. Now they are upset and alone. And guys, this is literally on the eve of hashtag M2, the pregame show. Right now, it's just starting again. We're in the pregame. You see all these celebrities having their lives destroyed, torn apart. They're losing everything. And this is just the pregame show. We're in part two, and I told you this was coming. And these women are already miserable. They're lonely. Things are falling apart. Like I said, by 2030, 45% of all women between the ages of 25 and 44 will be single and childless. But it's all good. Let's check out this video.
For whatever reason, this article really resonated with people. But, when I wrote it, I was truly terrified. Like, I wrote a lot of that. Art, like, truly scared. Like, I really did think, like, wow, you've missed your opportunity. Like, you are going to be alone. You're not going to have a family. Like, really scared when I wrote that. Like, that's exactly how I felt. And when I got comments after that article was published, like I said, there was hundreds of guys emailing me, texting me, LinkedIn messaging me, commenting on the post. You're selfish, you missed out. You could have had all that. You've picked your career. I mean, calling me horrible things. I mean, it was awful. I sat in bed reading these comments and I was like, oh my God, they're right. And they're not totally right. I don't think I'm a horrible, selfish person for not wanting to have children in my 20s and not wanting, to have children during that marriage. But it did scare me because a lot of what they were saying, they were like, you've been very selfish your whole life. And that's what I heard over and over again. And that's actually the next thing that I wrote that I think will be coming out soon is I got all these horrible comments from men telling me I had missed my chance and that I, was a stupid feminist who was focused on myself, which I thought was interesting because, like I said, I don't consider myself a feminist at all. But it did get me thinking, and I did write an article that I think will come out soon about the downfall of living a selfish, me-focused life, And it does, I mean, for me, it's definitely started to feel hollow and meaningless. And, it's taken me to this point in my life to realize that that's not a life that's going to bring you happiness. I mean, and maybe it does for some people. I honestly have a hard time believing that. If I thought I would spend the rest of my life alone, if I didn't think that I would get married and have children, I would be devastated. I don't know. It is such a me culture right now.
Guys, it's so interesting. So this woman, she literally thought she was going to have it her way. She thought she was going to live things on her terms. In other words, she was going to have her career. She was going to do what she wanted to do. She wasn't going to have kids in her 20s, which were the best time to have kids. And now she's in her late 30s. You can see, woman in her late 30s realizes she wants marriage and kids, feels betrayed by feminism, but she was married already. She didn't want to have children in that marriage because the guy was not good enough because she was, making her own money, Miss Independent. So she threw that marriage away, prioritized her career. Now she's in her late 30s and she feels that, she should be she feels entitled to marriage and children. And what have men have been constantly told? Men have been constantly told you are not entitled to anything. You are not entitled to physical intimacy. You are not entitled to a conversation. You are not entitled to a smile. You are not entitled to anything whatsoever. And you should really not go around walking up to women that you don't know, speaking to strangers. You shouldn't do that. You should never approach a woman. And this is what, especially in public, this is what men have been told. Don't speak to a woman at the gym. Don't look at a woman at the gym. Stay away from them. Keep your distance. If you see a woman walking down the street, you should cross the street, because women have dealt with so many things over the years and decades that they have a lot of fear. And the best thing you can do to help a woman is to cross the street and give her space so she knows that you see her, you recognize her. And that that you're providing her with enough space so that she can feel safe. This is what feminists have spread for so many decades now, and they use social media to do it. And what are men doing? Men are listening. Men are avoiding women. They are staying away. They are not approaching them in public. They are not speaking to them. They are not going. They, at the gyms right now, gyms are experiencing a 60% decline in male participation. The CEO of Planet Fitness, they fired him midway through major shape changes being done at the company. He was literally caught off guard, and this is a result of gym memberships among men declining so much because men are not going to the gym anymore. More men are just starting are building a gym at home, staying home and working out, and these companies have no way of coming back from this. If you look at what happened, especially with the whole Bud Light thing, they lost, was it like tens of billions of dollars? It's like one of the largest losses by a company in history. Really what it was a it was directed at men, and men basically said, yeah, thanks but no thanks, and they walked away. And this is what men walking away is: men walking away from Western society and relationships in Western society. And this can involve men, basically, just living off the grid, going into the woods, or if they're in society, they're only doing as much as they have to survive and provide for themselves. And they'll thrive, but they're not going to have a family, they're not going to have children, they're not going to have a wife. In many cases, they will not have a girlfriend. They're choosing not to have relationships with Western society. If they want a relationship, if they want to date, they're going to fly out to another country, have a relationship over there, date over there. If they want children, they may have children in another country. They're definitely not going to bring her back to the US, especially after M2 Part 2 like really starts to take off and guys finally start to say, okay, yeah, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to bring her back to Western society because I know exactly what's going to happen. And I wouldn't want to raise children here anyway. In fact, I don't even want to be here. I actually thought of it years ago that these countries that are going in this direction with birth rates falling, they're just literally going to serve as places where people go to work. They're going to be like manufacturing hubs. So these countries are basically going to serve as manufacturing hubs for the rest of the world, and their products are going to basically be shipped to the rest of the world. A country is nothing without its men. I want to say it's people, but a country is nothing without its men. Just like a country without its borders is not a country, it's a wasteland. A country without its men is not a country, it's a wasteland. Because once a man, what does a border do? A border protects the country from those who wish to invade. What do men do? Men protect the country from those who wish to invade and do harm. And of course, when the men walk away, what happens to the country? Those who wish to invade come in, they pillage, they take what they want, they take over. And men today aren't going to fight for this because they own, there's the saying, you will own nothing and be happy. So what are men going to say? Well, if I'm going to own nothing and you say I'm going to be happy about it, then I'm not going to protect anything. I'm not going to fight for anything. I'm not going to defend anything because I have no ownership over anything. I don't own the land. I don't own anything. I own no media. I own literally nothing. So there's nothing here for me to protect. One thing that I will tell you guys that you want to do is you want to make sure that you keep things. One, you learn how to cook without needing. You learn how to cook and how to start a fire. How to learn how to cook using logs, creating a log oven. Because where we're heading in the direction where we won't be able to prepare food anymore because they're getting rid of our ability to use gas. Everything's moving to electric, so there won't be any more gas stoves. It'll all be electric. And that's basically so that when the power goes off, people can't cook food anymore. Everyone's stuck in the cities. People can't cook food anymore. The only people who are going to be really surviving and thriving during those times are going to be people over in the woods. Going to be guys in the woods who are just going to be chilling in the woods. And there was I'll tell you this also. I was very hesitant about it because I was like, I don't care. I'm traveling around the world, but I'm telling y'all right now, the video games that you wanted, like the price of physical video games is going to skyrocket so high. Even the crappiest of games like Madden 2007, like that's selling for 99 cents that no one wants, These games, that's going to be $73 for you, bro, and you're lucky to get a copy of it. It's going to be that bad, and it's going to be that bad. The cost of physical games is going to skyrocket because it's literally you will owe nothing and be happy. So just to play some old games, just to play games at all, it's going to be very, very difficult. That's why if you have a PlayStation 2 and a nice collection, good for you. It's like because those games are going to be worth so much. Just being able to have a physical collection of games that you can pop out a game, put in a game, play your games, and so forth. That's the most important thing right now, because at any given time in the future, it's going to get to the point where a lot of people won't be able to access their video games because everything will be digital. Everything will be digital, and they can snatch it away at any given moment. Oh, you've been a naughty boy, no video games for you. So just being able to have some physical media is going to be very important. If you have a nice collection that you can just roll through and play through, until the end of your days, that's really awesome. That's really all you really need. So like, a nice video game collection of the oldies that you enjoyed, and they're not even that old. Even going back to PlayStation 4, and what other one, and the Xbox, those games that you can play offline, PlayStation 2, stuff like that. You have a nice collection, put that together, because it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard, be able to, like, cook your food, like in a wooden oven, like, or a grill that you can heat using a wooden fire. You've got to learn how to do this. You're gonna have to learn how to cook without gasoline. But yeah, man, I mean, like, that's one thing I want to do. I want to have a cabin in the woods. I need to learn how to do that. Have a cabin in the woods. And I'll tell you something, women are very, very resistant to this idea. If you have a mother, for example, they're going to be resistant to this. A wife, a lot of them will be resistant to this. Leave them if you have to. Leave these people if you have to. Get up, leave, and do what you have to do as a man, because you're the same people when things hit the fan that are going to look to you like you're supposed to be able to protect them. And if you have your cabin, they're going to want to run to your cabin and have you take care of them and turn around and say, oh, you're a man. That's your burden. As a man, you're supposed to take care of women. You're supposed to take care of things. And you're going to look at them like they're insane, and they're going to laugh at you in your face, because who the heck were you to even to think that they were competent? This is it always falls back on men. That's why you have to worry about yourself, worry about taking care of yourself. When it comes to women in a man's life, your relationship with God is priority. Your relationship with yourself comes next. Your health, your wealth, your finances, your happiness, your purpose. Everything else comes before a woman. A woman comes after. What comes? A woman comes after a fart. That's the level of priority. After a fart, then you can focus on her. That's the level of priority. That's the order. That's the order of organization, when you really have to when you really try to figure out where she comes along, because you don't prioritize her, you don't chase her, you don't worry about her well-being, you don't worry about her emotional state, you don't worry about her happiness, you don't worry about her survival. I mean, if she's with you and that's basically her best bet at survival, and you're not worried about her survival, you're worried about your survival. And you always have to know that you always want to have a situation set up where you can separate yourself from her at any given time. Like, personally, if I have a log cabin, I'm not bringing a woman there. Like, that's my getaway, that's my way out. Like, I'm not bringing a woman to my place, to where I'm surviving, because I don't really see a utility in that. I would rather bring a brother with me that can help me, can work with me, has respect for me, and he wants to survive. So I'm going to get utility out of him, versus bringing some woman with me who's going to give me problems and create issues out there, and have me risking myself to make her happy, or else she's going to nag, because that's what women do. They know how to nag and drag things out. And no, I don't need that crap. I don't need that crap at all. Like, especially in hard times, I just want to relax and drink a beer and just live my life in peace. I don't want the nonsense that comes with all that bull crap. And that's really how it is. And you have these look at this. I mean, you have these Gen Z women, Gen Z and millennial women, who are now waking up to the feminist fed lies, and now they're upset and alone. And hey, guess what? No one cares. No one's crying for them. No one's going to, comfort them and pat them on the back and say they are there. They made the decision for themselves. They embraced it, and they're going to have to live with it. And it's not just them. A lot of Gen X women, a lot of Gen X guys have been saying, listen, Angry, the Gen X women, they are, the roosters are coming to crow right now. A lot of them are ending up homeless and destitute. And you know what? So be it, because I'm not crying for them either. That's just the reality of things. What do you think regarding this guy? Old, alone, and furious at feminism. I want to know your thoughts in the comments. Let's talk about it there. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWA, men walking away. And cheers.